Kit here, your relationship and breakup coach. You might feel really sick and tired of your partner not taking responsibility. He might not take responsibility in terms of keeping, the house clean, or do grocery shopping, or be creative in terms of what's for dinner tonight. Maybe you feel like that's all on you. Maybe even when you have arguments and conflicts, he does not take responsibility for saying hurtful things to you and for bringing up things that are not beneficial to, what is really beneficial to an argument. But maybe you just feel like he is kind of doing this, oh, I don't want to touch it. It doesn't really have anything to do with me. We can just get it over with and done, so I can, sit over here and be comfortable again and not really take any kind of responsibility. It all starts and ends with you. You might feel that he does not take responsibility, and that can either be because you have taken responsibility for him, just like, a mom tells their kids what to do so they don't have to do it themselves. Or you don't really take any kind of responsibility for things that you need to take responsibility for. So what I suggest you to do is take responsibility where you can take responsibility for yourself. If you want a clean house, and if you want, a certain type of grocery bought, or you want to do grocery shopping on this day and this day and this day and this day, you kind of just have to do it. Because even if he says, oh, sure, I want to do it, he might not be that into it. And what I mean is that, as I said first, you might have taken responsibility so many times, so obviously food is getting served and, things are getting done without him doing anything. But second, his mind obviously works very differently than yours. Let's say the household chores. You might see dust bunnies in the corner on day 2 after you guys have, cleaned. He might see dust bunnies on day number 16. So his standard of this is a clean house is very much different than yours. And you cannot, and this goes with anything, this is a very simple, very basic example of how different people perceive life. But this goes on with everything in your relationship. So when you don't feel like he takes responsibility for something, you need to understand that either you have taken that responsibility so you don't have to do anything, or maybe you have told him several times, that's not good enough, that's not good enough, that's not good enough, or that's wrong. But also you perceive life very differently. So instead of trying to persuade him to do something that he doesn't see the logic the same way that you get logic out of, we need to vacuum this house, once a week. Or whenever you say this when we have an argument that, stresses me out or whatever. You need to understand that it all starts and ends with you. So stay in your own lane. Make sure that when you do things, you do them, of course, for you, but don't expect him to do them for you. He needs to do stuff for him. And this is where communication is key, right? Because we need to communicate with our partner. So also just sit down and talk about your differences, because it all comes down to you are very different in a relationship. So you need to be able to come together and kind of figure out, this is what we do differently. This is how we look at things differently. So we need to, first and foremost, accept that we have our differences. And then second, maybe also most of the time just agree to disagree and be good with that, instead of being all angry and annoyed that he does not do what you perceive as normal. This is how it's supposed to be done, because that's really not how any relationship works, because it is two people and it's two individuals. It's two perceptions of the world. It's two very, very different lived lives that come together. So there is no truth. There is no, this is how we do it. This is how we do it if we've sat down and made sure that we're on the same page. But that needs to happen before we can kind of expect things from each other. Not just because this is what makes sense to us, because it does not, very rarely, basically never, make sense in the same sense to the other person. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, hit the subscribe button below, give it a thumbs up, or comment. Like, if you have something that you want elaboration on, feel free to ask away. I will do my best to answer you guys' questions. So until next time, have a wonderful day.